Hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Thank you. Thank you for your patience with my flexible start time. This is 19 minutes after the posted start time that I so carefully put in every time zone in the chat section. I really did try to hit that, but it's kind of like my process, of like figuring out exactly what to do today and clearing enough energy so I do my best job. It's a little bit like baking a cake. So, you think the cake's going to be done at a certain time, but you have to test the cake. If you take the cake out from the oven 15 minutes too early, it's really not going to be right. So, hence the flexible start time. Maybe someday I will clear enough so that the cake can be baked at a set time every time, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So thank you for your patience with the flexible start time. All right. The US did have a time change early this morning, which is why I had to post thank you, which is why I had to post all those start times just to make sure that everybody knew the situation. I'll be so glad someday when the US no longer has time changes, but there must be somebody powerful that likes it the way it is, because most people don't like those time changes, but we still have them. So anyway, enough of that. So this will be the rough start time, somewhere between what I just posted and when I'm actually starting now. So it'll be this way through March 10th of 2025, unless I change the official start time at some point for some reason. And that March 10th, 2025 is when the US next has its time change. Thank you for my confirmation. I appreciate that. Okay. So. Okay, so I have a new term that I'll be using today and possibly often from here on out. We'll see how valuable it turns out to be in the results of how people feel after the healing. But RIB is an acronym, a new acronym that I just made up this morning as I was preparing for this healing. Continuing to prepare for this healing. So RIB stands for Rage Inducing Baggage or Rage Inducing Energy Blocks. So they are not necessarily repressed anger blocks. They could be, repressed fear blocks or, repressed betrayal and abandonment blocks, something. But they're kind of central enough to that person that when they're triggered, that person wants to whack somebody, subconscious. But so the RIB is for subconscious rage-inducing blocks. So this is important because it's great not to cord people's ribs, rage-inducing blocks, because if you cord somebody's baggage, your energy is going into that baggage typically. And so therefore your energy wraps around that baggage, kind of like a candy wrapper. And so they're not so much aware that it's past life baggage relating to someone that's not at all you. They are only aware of that external part, which is the candy wrapper part, which is your energy, because you're cording it, sending energy subconsciously. So therefore, they know they feel like crap. They know it has to do with this, and they think it's your fault because you're the candy wrapper. because you're courting their rage-inducing blocks. So then they whack you potentially nonstop for a while until something happens and they get over it. So that's how you get backlash. That is one way that you get backlash people, is for some reason, subconsciously, you are courting their rage-inducing blocks. And therefore, you're the candy wrapper around their blocks. The blocks are often having nothing to do with you, really. It's just, whatever, from their childhood or a past life or something that is just very central for them. It's very crucial for them. And so it feels, like this huge offense. And then they feel the candy wrapper part, which is your energy. And so now it's your fault and they start whacking you. Whacking meaning throwing blasts of energy at you, maybe also accompanied by hard objects. So it can cause considerable damage to the point where it does affect how you feel. It can damage your aura, your chakras, etc. Right? So a lot of these healings, the first part, the 5 essentials, grounding, aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair, and good karma windows, flow zone, base of skull point work that we do, those I call the 5 essentials. And if there was some magical world where nobody whacked anybody, those 5 essentials wouldn't be so essential because it'd be a lot less likely that you have damage to those areas. And, wouldn't that be great? But that is not the world. Okay? In this world, many people have rage-inducing blocks. These blocks can get triggered for any number of reasons, right? But if you could do a process that would make it less likely that you would be the candy wrapper around people's rage-inducing blocks, then you wouldn't get the shit. You wouldn't get the punishment sent your way, which is obviously very valuable, right? You get less punishment sent your way on spirit, on subconscious levels. So that's a big part of what we're going to do today relating to rage-inducing blocks. Your rage-inducing blocks too, because it's not that people that whack are some sort of subsection of humanity that you and I are not a part of. It's just a human thing that can happen. So you and I also have blocks that are very central to, we feel are like great wounds, and so if those get triggered, it is possible that they become rage-inducing blocks, and we subconsciously whack people because of it. So that is, we're going to clear them. And so it's really interesting. And we're going to call back, and another term definition, which I did use it 2 days ago, but anyway, let me shut up until I change the little title. Okay. Okay, so angel-assisted gold sun, or gold magnet, because you don't have to use a sphere shape. You can use a cube shape or whatever rocks your boat, floats your boat. But angel-assisted gold magnet. We've used gold magnets, like a 3D gold shape as a magnet to call back your life force. We've done that, for years, right? And it's a very cool thing to do. It's easy. Why not? Good for everybody involved, yada, yada, right? But 2 days ago, I talked about an angel-assisted gold magnet, because if you're dealing with, from the perspective of, okay, we're in a world where there are backlash people, where people can get induced into a state of rage and whack subconsciously, and that's fairly common, then, maybe we need to work a little bit extra mindfulness into the technique, even the techniques in general, and even the technique of calling your own energy back from other people. Because say you have so much energy in somebody else's space subconsciously, and you call it back all at once, if they are tending to be more aggressive, there's a chance they could whack you just because the shift, and then notice it's because of something you did. So technically you help them by getting your energy out of their space so they're less blocked, but there's like a small chance, which still counts, that, you might ruffle their feathers too much and therefore they're, overly aware of you, or maybe even, maybe they'll whack you over it. So angel assisted gold magnet, I think I'm just going to use that all the time now. When you call your energy back, just have the angels assist. It still looks the same. You just say, angels, can you help me do this? In a healthy and gentle way for me and everyone involved. And then you just, you use it the same way, call your energy back. But then, maybe some of it takes longer to come back to you, which is fine. Some of your energy. So we'll do that, especially today, because we're dealing with those, which the term I just defined right before this one, the RIBs. We're dealing with rage inducing blocks in your space and rage inducing blocks in other people's spaces. Like we're just having you uncord them. And then in case you still have a lot of your energy in their space because you've been cording their rage inducing blocks for like 2 years or whatever, subconsciously, then, maybe there's still more of your energy, there's some of your energy still in their space, right? So then use an angel assisted gold magnet to call it back, and the angels are helping. So, they'll make it as gentle as possible and as safe as possible for you. And as, gentle enough for them. Although, probably in like, maybe 90% of the cases, you don't need the angel assisted gold magnet, but just in case, especially if you have somebody who tends towards whacking the crap out of you. Then angel assisted gold suns are nice. But again, it is all these things. I mean, there'd be no point in doing them if they weren't ultimately to make you safer, and help you to live a better life. That's the whole point. It's just that, people sometimes they're not so equipped to handle energy shifts, and then they have all sorts of old baggage that they haven't cleared. So I'm just trying to be mindful of that for everybody, and so everybody has a more beneficial and gentle experience. Hope that makes sense. But overall, with the last healing, a lot of people had a lot of nice results. Most people had a lot of nice results. Some people, like, they felt because 2 days ago in the first healing in the set, we did a lot of clearing trauma, and we did it in really, again, careful ways to minimize backlash, and mindful ways of like, that, especially with your backlash people, that you could be courting their baggage and they could be courting your baggage, and also that they may have dumped stuff in your space, and also that they may have dumped it in both astral and physical. So I'm going to change the label on this. So I already did start this recap. So I'll figure out when that was so that I make an accurate timestamp. But anyway, so in that first healing, there were some terms there too that I defined, and I defined them in a section called more defining terms, before the healing starts. So you could listen to just that chapter. But anyway, that people can be dumpers, and so they can, and I could be a dumper, you could be a dumper. It's not just like, oh, evil other people that are not us, It can happen. It's not good karma. It's not ideal, but it can happen. So, try to clear any shame or, little perfection rules that you have in your brain about yourself. But, so anyway, but also people can dump into both astral and physical energy systems. So when you think, okay, well, this person just dumped in my space, double A, think of a friendly way to imagine the energy. Like, does it look like 3 black balls? Does it look like 5 white boxes? Whatever. A, think of that so that it's just like your clairvoyance is working with it and you just feel like not freaked out, right? So then get the friendly imagery of what was dumped and then check in your astral space and your physical space, because you could have, if they're a thorough dumper, they dumped into both, so it wouldn't be just 5 white boxes, it's 5 white boxes in your astral body energy system and a whole different set of 5 white boxes in your physical body energy system. And most people, they only clear the astral, they don't clear the physical, which is why people don't get over things as thoroughly as they want to. So you melt people's cords away, everybody's cords away from all that junk. You do gold sandstorm or whatever you can just to get them totally out of your space while you're doing this. And then you just, clear what was dumped in both places, astral and physical. And if you dumped in their space, which is common, for example, family boundaries, it's important for families. It's common in families, maybe you dumped a lot of your pain in your parents' space because you're like, well, you did this to me. You're why I'm fucked up, It's possible, so you want to think of, okay, well, what's the healthy and gentle amount that I can work with, that I can imagine that I've dumped into, say, my dad's space, so I don't want to do too much right now, but, what's a healthy and gentle amount? So maybe it looks like 7 black boxes that I dumped in my dad's space. I can use an angel assisted gold sun to call back that stuff, right? But, first let me melt cords between me and him, and then I can, all cords between me and him, and then I can call back what I dumped into an angel assisted gold magnet of whatever shape. And then I ask my angels to clean it off, and I could just blow it up or something, or whatever, because it's just baggage. But anyway, so that's the idea. And there were separate sections in that last healing about if you dumped in somebody else's space or if they dumped in your space, just so it's like a walkthrough. You can listen to one and also listen to the other. And of course, please don't assume that you're so pure as a driven snow that you would never dump into somebody else's space, because that's wrong, incorrect. I mean, it's possible that you're way less likely to dump into anyone else's space than many people, but it's still really good to double check and deal with it, because everyone has bad days or dark times or more vulnerable times when they just weren't as pure. All right, cool. So let's see. So I don't think we're going to repeat much from yesterday, but we'll see. Because I think the RIB stuff, rage inducing baggage, there are several aspects of that I think will be really beneficial. And so I think that'll take enough time and be consequential enough that that could take most of the healing or all of the healing today. So we'll see. It is good stuff though from 2 days ago. The effects, some people, it helped their body relax more because we were making sure to clear the trauma baggage from the physical body as well, both original baggage and copies from other people. So part of that was to help sleep, because if a body is more rested and relaxed before sleep, I think most people, they think of, well, sleep is supposed to fix all that, right? Sleep is when I can get to relax, right? I can't get to relax when I'm awake. Are you kidding? Yeah. But the problem is, if your body isn't relaxed enough during the day and right before sleep, then you may not sleep properly, long enough, well enough, yada, yada, yada. Because your body has to like clear energy blocks during your sleep, and your body has to, rest enough so that you as a spirit feels like comfortable enough going and leaving your body, safely with some angel protection in your bed, so you can be on the astral when you're sleeping. So if your body's so tightly wound and full of burdens and, old baggage, then that's harder for it to work well. So anyway, so because we were careful and thorough and we cleared astral and physical, many people did have improved sleep. Not everyone, and I do want to know if it didn't work for you, because, this stuff is complex and there are extra things that can be done to help and, whatever. So I appreciate everybody's feedback on surveys. And there will be a quality of sleep question through the end of the year for sure. Also, some people, they just felt their brains worked better, their communication worked better since the first healing 2 days ago. Because of that clearing of trauma baggage and getting other people's trauma baggage out of their space and their mind, some people were able to, finish essays or have a challenging conversation with a partner that they weren't able to communicate with, that they weren't able to say what they wanted to say before. So it's always nice to get old trauma out of the way, whether it's yours or somebody else's. So anyway, that was the first healing, and it did seem to help most people with boundaries a lot. So that even if your backlash people were whacking you, it was harder for their energy to get through because we cleared a lot of the mutual baggage. Like if somebody dumped, we were careful and we cleared it out. And so because if someone dumps baggage into your space, they're probably courting it still. And so then so it's hard to have boundaries if you're hooked together by the cords, and vice versa. So anyway, for most people, it helped their boundaries with others significantly. Not everybody, but today, perhaps I'm thinking will help everybody in several ways, but could help the people that were not safer because of the first healing. So we'll see. That's that. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through chat comments, and then we'll do 3 minutes of quiet where I finish my prep. And then towards the end of the quiet part, I'll start the healing. You'll see me go like that. That's how you know I started. And then after about a minute of quiet healing, I'll talk out loud as I heal. And so the whole rest of the healing is you could use it as a all levels walkthrough and heal yourself as you listen. All levels meaning great for motivated newbies, great for advanced people, and anyone in between. You should be able to find plenty of stuff that is educational and or helpful. All right, cool. So chat comments. Hello from partially cloudy Las Vegas, 64 Fahrenheit. I can see and hear you. Thank you so much. Hey, Janet, we can see and hear you in Chicago, 59 and rainy. How about that? We kind of have partial sunlight right now, partially sunny and like 55 here. So it's not actually raining for us right now. Oh, rage inducing blocks make a lot of sense. Sometimes I will get really mad about silly stuff. So excited to work this. Yes. Yeah, me too. It should be great. Good evening from Ireland. Hello to you. can see and hear you in Evergreen, Colorado. Thanks for the pretty emojis. Turtles rock. 38 degrees and cloudy. That's a little chilly. Expecting snow. Yeah, well, it's November. That's Smokey, my cat. Let's see. Someone says, "Hi, Janet. Looking forward to learning from this healing. I have a feeling I'm courting my clients' rage-inducing blocks." Yeah. Yeah, this should be interesting. I think she's doing the same. Yeah. Hi, it's 59 degrees and mostly cloudy today in Michigan. Well, hello to you. This is, "Hey, Janet. I can see it." Smokey's pacing back and forth around and there we go. Now he's settled down. It's 59 degrees and mostly cloudy today in Michigan. Oh, I read that. "Hey, Jenna, I can see and hear you. Thank you. -3 Celsius today. I'm glad the cold isn't very triggering." Get out my little temperature conversion chart. So -3. So that's definitely below freezing. Maybe like, yeah, for us, maybe that would be 29 degrees or so. I'm just guessing looking at this little chart I have. All right. Well, thanks for the weather report. Hope you're staying warm. Where you are. So it says, "Hi, Jenna. Thanks for the healing. Slept deeply last night." Very nice. Good to know. Sunny in San Francisco, California, in the U.S. 65 Fahrenheit. That's nice. I would take that for November. November. It's like I'm still getting used to that. I'm going to have a great November. Yay, November. All right. Oh, and if anyone's praying for, let's see, I'll do I will timestamp it so that people could avoid it if they want. But anyway, if anyone abroad or domestically in the US is praying for the US, you know, praying to the angels or God or Allah or whoever you pray to, please keep praying through January. Well, you could consider. I mean, don't do it as my personal request, but if you feel moved to pray for the US, that we're not such a pit of darkness, politically speaking, it's sort of not over, the whole anarchy risk or fascism risk. I mean, it's maybe not over for years, but it won't be over substantially until after inauguration, which is, I think, January 20th of next year, 2025. So if you are of the praying type to the angels or whoever, it's not just you know, through the election, because we have a bunch of people who have more fascist tendencies, and they don't really care who wins the election. They just want to have power. So not trying to scare anybody. I mean, it is what it is, you know, but just so you know, it goes beyond just the election. All the way through to inauguration, because we have, the US has, you know, the Supreme Court, and there are some people on the Supreme Court that are kind of iffy as far as their allegiances. And like one or two of them, I mean, have clearly taken lots and lots of money from rich people, like billionaires, like, and everybody knows it, but they're still on the Supreme Court. So So there's that, and there's all sorts of different options that fascist leaning people might want to take to overturn election results or whatever. So and of course, depending on who wins, yeah, whatever. So you can leave it at that, but you can always ask the angels. You can say, angels, can you please, help the United States to, whatever, help American voters to be as centered and aligned with divine assistance as possible, something like that. You could say, angels, could you please clean out planetary darkness from American voters, from the American political system, and you could say from all governments in the world and all people in the world. Clean out, angels, please clean out planetary darkness. Because the U.S. is not the only nation with people that are being influenced by darker energies, of course. Okay. So enough about that. But yes, there's always good news. You can ask the angels to help, and I do think the more people that ask, the more impactful it is. So there you go. So one more chat comment that I want to read right now. What is the action plan in the moment for when someone is dumping their trauma copies? Just to let it happen and then clear it as soon as possible? I mean, if you have good boundaries, that helps. If you're being present is always the most safe thing. So, biker shorts, you can think, wiggle your butt. Gold light, whatever, really gets you checked in, is best. Because when the more chakras you're in, the more grounded you are, the more flow you have, the better. So, for some people, like if you think of like a song you like, that'll get you in, like a song you like to dance to if you're sort of an in-body dancer, or, just non-resistance is very good. Think of being the flow, being present, being flowing, the earth. You could do a tricolor soak, yeah. Yeah, so it's not really a problem if someone dumps into your space, it's just, I mean, you could deal with it in the moment, I guess, if you wanted. You could say, angels, help me with boundaries, but the more present you are and flowing you are, the less likely it's going to get in. It's not like guaranteed that someone trying to dump in your space can. So presence and non-resistance would probably be the best bet. Body connectivity. Wiggling your toes in your butt. All that good stuff. All right, cool. But yeah, I think too, if you maybe do redo, the first healing, that kind of the process, it just becomes easier. It's like, okay, well, I just want to uncord from that person. I want to be aware of where it was dumped, astral and physical, and just blow up what was dumped. It's not rocket science. I mean, before we could clear what people dumped in your space, the only thing new about having stuff dumped in your space is melting the cords to that person who dumped, just in case they're still cording this stuff. And also the second thing is that the thorough dumping is astral and physical. So double check in both spots for that energy that just got dumped. And, get rid of both copies. Okay. All Alright, so now, do the 3 minutes of quiet. Where I finish my prep. And at the end, I will start the healing in silence, and then I will talk nonstop after that. Okay, thank you for waiting. Okay, let's do grounding. So redo both your groundings. One for your astral body, one for your physical body. Make them as wide as your auras, all the way down to the core of the earth. So make them both the same color, red or orange or yellow. You can make a copy out in front of you of both of those groundings and use gold light from your hands, your hand chakra, and your fingertip chakras. You set those chakras to metallic gold, just those chakras to metallic gold, so that, like this glitter, metallic gold, so that the energy they're generating is that gold vibration, which is very good for releasing energy and repairing. So use gold light to wash through both of your groundings. And just a heads up, clarification for those that are watching me maybe for the first time. I am healing as I'm doing this, but I'm not healing anybody that's watching live. I am healing specifically the 150 people that who purchased or their loved ones purchased for them this set of 3 healings. So those are 150 people in 12 different countries. So it's not just anybody that is watching live, although if you're watching live, you're awesome too. And there's overlap. Many of the people that I'm that purchase the healing are also watching live. But just because you're watching live doesn't mean I'm healing you. Hope that makes sense. And if you do want to purchase a future healing, just buy it on my website, jwhealing.com. All right, so still combing through grounding. Imagine the energy blocks in your grounding and melt them away. They can look like rocks. They could look like flat, hard, like books, kind of. Just melt them away. And indie grounding is where you check the outer surface of both of your groundings all the way down to the core of the earth. And melt away with the gold light. You melt away any attachments going into your grounding from other people or anywhere that your grounding is linking to other people. People do that sometimes subconsciously, but it's not helpful to anybody. Your grounding and their groundings work best if they're fully separate all the way down to the core of the earth. So even if you have young kids, double check that their grounding goes all the way down. So like one of my clients, she mentioned in her survey that she has a child with some rage issues. Like he just gets caught up in his own anger and it's hard to calm him down. If he's a young kid, it's okay to ground your young kid. You can just imagine, bring up earth energy like at RIB, and just give him like an earth energy soak, a big bunch of earth energy and just soak your whole space with red earth energy so that they're grounded and that their grounding is separate from yours. Anyway. Separate groundings work best. Okay, cool. The aura repair. You can have rips in your auras. And we don't want that. So just imagine a copy of all your auras out in front of you. You actually have 17 of them, but don't let that freak you out. Astral body, physical body, and then 15 of them are called Wei Qi auras, which are strong boundaries energy that you have as a spirit. So anyway, the 17 auras, they're in the same place if you're reasonably present. So they're just all around you like a big bubble that goes beneath your feet, above your head. And so you just imagine all 17, a copy out in front of you, and check for rips anywhere because it's good to good to practice that. As a newbie, you might be like, I don't know if I have rips, but if that's the case, you can just sort of assume that you do and repair your aura. Especially if you feel off at all, but sometimes people are so used to being screwed up that they, it's not unusual for them to have rips in their aura. They always do. So when in doubt, repair. But anyway, so you imagine a rip and say, okay, well, this is my composite copy rip. It represents all the rips in all my auras, and I'm going to repair it now, right? And as I repair the composite copy, I'll repair all the rips, right? So, first you want to clean out the rip. So use sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands that sticks to everything that's not you. And so it forms like a nice, easy to remove lump, right? So fill up with sticky gold wax, remove all the junk as a big lump. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, fill it up, remove everything that's not you in there. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax. So have the gold wax stick to hard objects as well as other people's energy, invasive beings. And then just lift all that out. Angels, here you go. So then now, get the gold light as deep into the rip as you can so that it starts to repair. All right, So that probably repaired most of your rips and your auras. So let's just do that one more time in case you have 1 or 2 rips left over. So just make a new composite copy rip and have it represent all your remaining rips. And then repair it in the exact same way. So sticky gold wax, get rid of the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax. Angels, here you go. Also, you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? And just use cold light. Here. Then check the outer surface of all your auras in case there are any rips or hard objects still sticking out. Like you might have little leaks, little tiny holes still. So just, if you still have any hard objects sticking out, you can kind of pop them out and just let them explode as they pop out and do a little extra repair. Comb through your auras and melt and just have the gold light go to any hard objects that are stuck in your auras and melt the hard objects away with the gold light. So specifically have the gold light find the hard objects in your auras and melt it away. Melt away the hard objects stuck in your auras. So I've just put that in the title because we already did it, but we just spent extra time melting hard objects than we normally would that are just anywhere in your auras. So I want to see if that made a significant difference for people. So I got to put in the title so people know we did it. Yada, yada. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do a creative ring repair. Creative rings are up here, 1, 2, 3. Also, we'll do a little 7th chakra repair and unblocking. The 7th chakra is in the top of the head, so fully in the top of the head. It should be. It shouldn't be sticking up, right? 7th chakra's in there, in the top of your head. They're oriented this way, so round opening the top. So this would be like the top of your head, and round opening the bottom. So it'll be in there. So that's 7th chakra, open cylinder, oriented this way. It's the only major chakra that's oriented this way. All the others, 6 in your forehead, all the way down through 1st chakra at the base of the spine, are oriented this way, with the round opening in the front, round opening in the back. But anyway, so 7th chakra, 3 gold rings. Put the copy out in front of you. It's a part of your spirit. They generate gold light if they're repaired properly and you melt enough cords. Melt cords going into them from other people. Also repair any damage with the gold light. And kind of melt away any crusty energy blocks that are on them too. Or any hard objects sticking out of them. Melt all that junk away. You can also recycle any invasive beings that are cording your creative rings. So imagine them just like a bunch of clouds and just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? Or you can just say, angels, can you recycle any beings that are cording or trying to cord my creative rings or my 7th chakra? So the flaps, your creative rings as well as your chakras, they have flaps around the chakras have them around the round opening on each end. But the seventh chakras, they're not really a cylinder, they're just a ring. So this is the flaps, how they would look in an irritated state when they're open like that. But you don't want them to be open. But they would be that way if there are pairs of cords going in from other people or invasive beings, and that sends energy that's not yours in there, which irritates the ring, and so the flaps pop open. So if you melt enough of the cords and heal the rings, then the flaps relax and fall shut. So then the rings can just do their job and generate gold light, and your energy can flow nicely through the rings. And again, if you have any invasive beings trying to mess with your creative rings, you can just imagine a lineup of them and say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? We're gonna do your seventh chakras. You can imagine them both like this, round opening oriented this way with round opening the top and the bottom. You could bring up purple earth energy just for your seventh chakras. Purple would not be a good color for many of the other chakras because it's too fast moving, but for your seventh, it'd be fine. If you have agreements with people or invasive beings that are unhealthy agreements, they might involve cording your creative rings or your seventh chakras. So then just simply melting cords wouldn't really do it because the agreement is in place. The agreement sort of overrides the gold light. So you can just imagine any unhealthy agreements you have that make it possible for a person or an invasive being to mess with any of your chakras or your creative rings. And so you can imagine those unhealthy agreements like a stack of papers and just use gold light to melt them all away. You can say, angels, help me do this. Angels, help me melt away any unhealthy agreements that I have. So again, imagine any more unhealthy agreements that you might have that that make it possible for people or invasive beings to cord any of your chakras or your creative rings and just melt those agreements with gold light. Angels, help me do this. So we just did it, but I'll put it here. So we melted unhealthy agreement. Your seventh chakras, we already did a little bit. Unblock them. Seventh layers. Both your astral body and your physical body auras, they have layers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wrap all the way around you. And so especially your seventh layer, because we just worked on your seventh chakras, and your seventh chakras generate the outermost layer, seventh layer. So just use gold light or gold sandstorm. Comb through your 7th layers, both of them, and also just outside your 7th layer, in case there's any junk there too. Outside your auras. With your 7th layers, but also just outside your melt away anything that's not you. And we did repair gold mesh spheres 2 days ago. We could just really quickly do that. Gold mesh spheres, 1, 2, 3. You have 3 of them in each of your 15 Wei Qi auras. They generate a lot of gold light. So they look like gold mesh if they're repaired and cleaned off. Like bubbles of gold mesh within each Wei Qi aura. So just for any rips in those gold mesh spheres. The purpose of them is they generate a lot of gold light, kind of like creative rings do, the gold mesh spheres. All right, great job. So we'll do it like we did 2 days ago, where we'll repair all your major and minor chakras at the same time, repair and unblock. And then we will just work on the worst ones, the ones that still need more work. Because sometimes if you look at everything together, it is time saving, but sometimes it's easy to miss like some that are still messed up if you do everything together. So then you can kind of highlight what's most messed up after that and focus on helping that part. So that's what we'll do. So just imagine basic chakra shape, open cylinder out in front of you, and with your intention, you say, okay, well, this represents, you know, for the sake of this healing, this right now, I'm going to have this represent all my major and minor chakras within my body and my spirit. So that includes, you know, major are the 7 astral and 7 physical along the spine. Minor ones are every other chakra, chakras in your joints, chakras in, you know, major limbs, keeping the energy flow, and all these amazing acupuncture points all around the physical body. Anyway, so all chakras all at once, go ahead and unblock and repair. Melt cords going into the round openings. Use gold light to melt away the cords. Melt the baggage. The baggage can be blocking the round openings. It can be wrapped around the outside of the chakra, or it can be stuffed inside the chakra. Just imagine any baggage and melt it away with gold light. And your intention is, I would recommend always, your intention is you want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. So just imagine the blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now and melt those blocks. You want to repair and unblock your chakras to the point where they can do their job, which is to generate energy and keep the flow. All right, and the flaps around the round openings should be relaxed and shut rather than sticking out. The flaps look like this. around each round opening of the chakra. So like, but not this part wouldn't be gold. It would just be the outer part. So if the chakra is red, then it would be red, but the flaps would stick out. So just relax those flaps, melt the cord so that the flaps are not sticking out. It's just a nice smooth round opening. You want the outer surface of the chakra to be like the surface of water. You looked at a glass of water and you like tap it and it would make little ripples. That's how you want, if you unblock and repair this outer surface enough, then it just looks like the surface of water, and then your energy can flow easily through that. Righty. And you could lift out baggage, especially that's in the way of you having healthy family boundaries. So lift out any baggage in your chakras that's healthy and gentle to get rid of. That if you clear it will help with family boundaries, and just, you could blow it up, you can melt it with gold light. Lift out any family boundaries baggage, give it to your angels, lift it out, blow it up or melt it or give it to your angels. Lift it out, melt it away. All right, so that's good. So that was repairing and unblocking all chakras. So then now we'll just do the worst ones. Same exact process though. So only imagine the worst ones. So it could be some, it could be like some acupuncture point somewhere, like several acupuncture points on different meridians that are still damaged, still blocked, whatever. So just one composite copy to represent what chakras you have that still need unblocking and repair, especially the ones that are the most messed up. And just use lots of gold light and just repair. Pop out any hard objects, have them explode or melt away. Lift out the baggage, melt it away or blow it up. Lift out the baggage. If you're healing someone else, just FYI, don't blow up their stuff. That's too bossy. Melt it with cold light or give it to the angels. Again, we're repairing the worst chakras. Chakras that still are damaged, even though we've done fabulous work. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with this repair work, can you please recycle them? And then if you have any unhealthy agreements that are making it impossible for you to repair these chakras, just imagine the unhealthy agreements like stacks of paper out in front of you, and just melt away the agreements. The angels help me do this. All right, good job. Okie dokie. So good karma windows is what we're going to do now. They're behind your head. So we're going to do good karma windows, flow zone, and base of skull points. So good karma windows are part of your spirit, your astral body energy system. Flow zone is a part of your physical body energy system in the same location, but also including around your neck and in your neck. Base of skull points are acupuncture points, literally the base of your skull. So, good karma windows, just imagine those behind your astral body head. So if you're reasonably present, you know, they're right back here. And just use gold light, lots of gold light, wash them out, melt cords going into them, melt away any hard objects stuck in them. Let the gold light repair each of these windows. There's 7 of them. 7 good karma windows, 1 in each astral body aura layer. So 1, 2, 3. I'll count out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each one looks like a triple frame window, which is that's what I mean by triple frame. That shape right there. But anyway, and just intuitively check each one and think, okay, well, can the beneficial energy that I need come through here, but not the destructive energy that I don't want come through here? You want the good stuff but not the bad stuff coming through? The bad stuff comes through, it's still damaged. All right, good enough. Flow zone, like I said, is in your physical body energy system. It's the same place mostly, but also including in and around your neck. So maybe a diagram that might be nice for that is there we go. There maybe. So yeah, so in and around the neck, including the vertebrae, cervical vertebrae there, up of the spine, and behind the head in the physical body aura. And there are no windows, no good karma windows. There's just, you know, aura layers of the physical body aura. 7 aura layers. So just anything hard doesn't belong there. So just gold light, melt the hard stuff away. Some people, especially people with sound boundaries issues, may have, you know, because 5th chakra, I mean, you think of your ears for hearing, but 5th chakra is very important for hearing. Also sinuses. And the ear, a lot of the ear is very internal, is important for hearing of energy, but sinus is quite a bit more than you might realize. So all around here. So we'll probably add that stuff too. So, yeah, so we'll add that. Yeah, so we'll do flow zone, sinuses, and ear all at once. Ear, including all the inner ear cool stuff. So first flow zone. Around the neck, in the neck. You can have like a hard black, kind of like a turtleneck sweater that comes up, you know, just melt all that away. And I have awesome diagrams since last healing set on the ear and sinuses. So the ear, so cool, turns out. I didn't realize how cool it was before. Those things in the diagram called semicircular canals. You actually have 3 of them, although in the diagram it looks like there are only 2, but that's not true. There are 3 semicircular canals. Those have a lot to do with balance, sense of balance. You have fluid, physically speaking, you have fluid in there. I mean physical balance, not like, you know, having balance in your life, yin and yang kind of thing. I mean like literal keeping your balance as you walk kind of stuff. So, and also motion sickness. It can have something to do with motion sickness. So Just heal your semicircular canals of your ear and your cochlea, which also can have to do with balance and hearing, of course, as well. And the whole, you know, your eardrums and the eustachian tube, that it's red in the diagram, shown as red, that connects to like the top back of your throat back there, and the top part of your nasal, I forget the term, part of your nasal cavity. Yeah. So the nasal cavity is like this big area. Like if you go in from your nostrils, there's this big area in there. And then you have sinuses, which are air pockets in bones that you have, different bones. So a different bone with a different air pocket, that's a different sinus cavity, or sinus. So you have like 4 different types of sinuses, all listed right there: frontal, ethmoid, maxillary sinus, and sphenoid sinus. Sphenoid bone, I'm so in love with the sphenoid bone. It's back here, from like one temple to the other, and it goes behind your eye sockets. It's so cool. I love the sphenoid bone. So we could add that, heal your sphenoid bone, because why not? Why wouldn't you? Oh. So you can bring up red earth energy, do like a red earth energy soak to any of these physical body areas. Your ears, your ear canal, those cool circular things, help with balance. Semicircular canals and the cochlea, soak them all in red earth energy. Melt the cords. You can say too, you know, angels, if there are any invasive beings screwing with any of this area, please recycle them. Any of these areas. You have sinus, one of your sinus cavities, it's shown in the diagram as green. Your frontal sinus, again, it's an air pocket in a bone. Is your frontal sinus right there. And all these sinus cavities, they drain into the nasal cavity, which is, you know, if you go back from your nostrils in there. So all the sinuses should drain properly into your nasal cavity. And then your that eustachian tube drains into the back part of your nasal cavity. Slash the top of your throat. Difference. Kind of cool. But anyway, I'll put a sound boundaries question on today's healing survey, because I want to work sound boundaries as well as quality of sleep through the end of the year in all the healings. So it'd be good to see if this healing helped sound boundaries at all. Let's see. Anyway, so just gold light and red earth energy through all your sinus cavities. Bigger nasal cavity. Through all your cool ear parts. Red earth energy and gold light. Red earth energy, just bring it straight up from the core of the earth. Soak these areas. Oh, yay. So now back to vertebrae, all the bones of the spine. The vertebrae, which are the bones of the spine. Lots of gold light. All right, that's good enough for that. We will Your base of skull points. Sorry, I'm just taking notes. So base of skull points is in the diagram, shown in the diagram as dots on those lines. Those lines are traditional Chinese medicine meridians. And the base of skull points are those two, they form two horizontal lines, pretty much, two rows of dots, right? So those are just points in these meridians that are in the, go through the base of your area. The middle one that goes up the, it starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the back, hooks around and ends in the roof of the mouth. That's the GV, governing vessel meridian. GV for short, governing vessel. It helps to manage all your yang meridians. So take charge, assertiveness. And then the yellow one, that's urinary bladder meridian. It starts in the inner corner of your eye and goes up and back. And then it splits into 4 branches. It goes down your back. So mostly I'm doing a little bit down the back, but mostly I'm just doing skull for that one. Skull point. And then the green, the blue-green one there, going through the base of skull area, that's the gallbladder meridian. And right down here, it says swoop GB 19 to 21 in font that I put there on the screen. So that's the shoulder swoop points that I call the shoulder swoop. So 1920 gallbladder meridian, points 1920, and then the gallbladder meridian comes forward like this to the front of your shoulder and then goes down more. So there's 21 is right here. So we're going to repair and unblock all 3 of those points, 19, 20, and 21, and that whole section of the gallbladder meridian. Just repair it. You want it to be energy-wise, even though it's green on the diagram, you want it to be red in vibration. You want those energy centers to be happy and doing their job, generating energy and keeping the flow good. So you might have any of these meridians too compressed. And so just heal them enough so they expand enough so that there's no tension as the energy flows through them. All right, good job. And in your auras, just behind all the base of skull points, just check for any hard plates of energy just behind the base of your skull in your auras and melt any of those hard plates of energy. All right. Yay. Okay, let's do some butterflies to celebrate the ending of the 5 essentials that we did. Yay. Got some confetti to celebrate it. But I want butterflies too. There we go. All right, so good job, good job, good job. We did all our 5 essentials: grounding, aura repair, creative ring repair, chakras, chakra repair, good karma windows work. But this time we separated out, and I'll make it 3 separate chapters. The good karma windows work is 1 chapter. The flow zone, including ear and nasal work as well, will be a separate chapter. And then the base of skull points, working those, including the shoulder swoop, will be a separate chapter as well. And those chapters with timestamps, they will be, visible at the very bottom of the video in white font. YouTube puts them in white font. If you click on one of the chapters, you'll see all of them listed. You can jump around easily, but you can't do that yet. I have to make them. So give me about a day to get that done. All right. Yay for butterflies. All right. Okay. So we're just going to jump right into doing with minimal explaining, because earlier there'll be a section that says defining terms, and it'll say RIB, and it'll say what RIB is, and I'll explain it at great length, of course. So now we're just going to do a couple of sections where we work that whole concept. So what is RIB? Briefly, since I already said it, RIB is an acronym. It's a new one for me. I'm teaching everybody rage inducing blocks. So it can be various types of baggage that you or somebody else has that, if it's triggered, feels unbalancing to the point where that person starts to feel rage and subconsciously whacks somebody over it. So that's what rage-inducing blocks are. They're not necessarily repressed anger. They could be repressed fear, repressed abandonment energy, repressed victimization energy, repressed whatever, right? Okay, so first thing, let's meld cords going to other people's ribs first. So especially your backlash people, and especially family members, because this is about family boundaries. But just anybody would be great. Anybody that you know. So you don't want to do anything to other people's ribs. Really, really, really. Like, don't touch them. Don't send energy to them, right? But melting cords going to them is not invasive, and it's not going to trigger. It'll make you more safe, not less, if you just melt your cords, because you're only using gold light in and near your space, right? So, right after that, we will also use an angel-assisted gold sun to call your energy back from those people. Okay. So then that'll make you even safer. But anyway, so how do you imagine other people's ribs without being invasive? Well, you can just imagine them like however you want, but stay where you are, stay here, pinch yourself, wiggle your butt, whatever, right? But you don't have to imagine specific people. Just imagine the ribs almost however you want, but you could imagine them like a mountain range, a whole bunch of different mountains, right? And so you don't have to worry whose blocks are whose or anything. And maybe that way it'd be less likely that you jump to the mountains if you don't even know who's who, right? So you just imagine a bunch of different mountains or a bunch of different boxes, whatever you want, right? But they're at a distance from you, right? But those are rage-inducing blocks of various people in various people's spaces, and you're courting them, but you don't want to. That's not in your best interest, as I explained in the defining terms section before the healing, right? So you just imagine pick a friendly, non-freaky image of what their ribs look like, if they look like mountains or boxes, whatever. And, stay where you are, but you imagine that big row of all these other people's ribs, and just think of where you are, and you make a copy of yourself also, and see the chords between you, their ribs, and you, their rage-inducing blocks and you, and just melt the chords that you made to their rage-inducing blocks, just with lots of gold light. So you're sending gold light to you and letting go of these chords, like melting the part of the cord that's within your space and just outside of your space. So the cord kind of drops away and dissolves. So just gold light in and around you to melt away your cords to other people's rage-inducing blocks. Okay, good job. So then, step 2, which I would suggest you do as well, but I'll put a different chapter title so it kind of stands out. So clear your matches to other people's ribs. Clearing your matches is something that, maybe would be standard practice for like a therapist or a professional reader healer. Somebody that works in a helping profession, even like a business person. I think it could be a standard thing that you do, or really anybody. Clear your matches. If you have a very similar bunch of pain to somebody else's pain, it's going to be a lot harder for you not to cord their pain because you have the same pain, even though it's subconscious. So you could be cording some of these people's ribs, rage-inducing blocks, because you have similar blocks from, past lives. So it's not like you shared the past life, you were there with them. But it's just like, yeah, you know what? Life isn't fair, and now you got taken advantage of too, and whatever, And so subconsciously, you're like bonding over that same pain. Even if you hate the person on a subconscious level, well, hopefully you don't. But you know what I mean? Like, even if you don't like the person, you still you could have matches. And that makes it a lot more likely that they're going to cord your matches, you're going to cord theirs, whatever, right? So it's a nice proactive thing to do if you're a therapist or a reader healer, is to clear your matches with your clients, right? And continually do that, which is why wellness as a practitioner is very important, clearing your matches, unblocking your space, because it just helps you to not be, to not match their pain and be in a better position to stay safe and assist your client, right? So anyway, so you just, sorry about that. That wasn't explaining. So now we'll do a doing. All right. So you imagine your mountains or your boxes, right? Imagine your ribs that are just like these other people's ribs. So we're not talking about stuff they dumped in your space. We're talking about that you also have betrayal issues, or you also have rage issues or sadness issues or whatever, So so use the same imagery, probably. I think that would be simple. So if you imagine their ribs as a bunch of mountains, then imagine your ribs as a bunch of mountains, right? But these are just your matches, right? Things you have in common with other people's rage-inducing blocks, baggage of yours that matches their ribs. And this, you could just, wash everybody out of your ribs. And it could be that they're not technically ribs for you. Like when they get triggered, you're not whacking anybody, but they're upsetting. So they're really just matches to other people's ribs, right? So just clear your matches. Just melt away any blocks that you have that match other people's ribs, right? Because that way it's just more likely you're going to stay separate from other people's ribs. You're not going to cord them. They're not going to cord your ribs because you're clearing them. They're not there anymore, so they can't be corded. Right? And you can say too, angels, throughout this whole rib work, can you help me to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now? So you're clearing your matches, any matches you might have to other people's ribs, right? Because you can't, and I would say you shouldn't force other people to clear their ribs. So they may have those rage-inducing blocks for the rest of their life, into the next life, into the next life. Your problem is that you want to stay separate from their ribs, and you want to call your energy back from their ribs, which is now what we're going to do. Okay, so now you're going to call your energy back from their ribs and just anywhere in their space, right? So make a gold magnet, but with your intention, just say, hey, angels, let's have this be an angel assisted gold magnet. So the angels are going to help you to call back your energy from anybody that has ribs in your life. That, maybe you got your energy in and around their ribs, or, other places in their space, right? So any of your backlash people, certainly any of your family members, anyone you want better boundaries with, just anybody really. Just have the gold magnet that you just created, whether it looks like a sphere or a cube or pyramid, whatever floats your boat. But just, okay, this, with your intention, make it a magnet, and just say, okay, I'm going to let my angels help me to call my energy back into this magnet from those people, from all those people, right? And it's angel assisted, so they're going to pace it in case, in the unlikely event that you have so much energy in somebody's space that you'd need to call it back gradually to be gentle to them. But anyway, the angels are helping with that, so you don't have to think about that part, right? And so then your energy is back in your magnet, right? And so ask your angels to clean off all this energy. Say, angels, can you clean off all this energy? And then just give it back to yourself, right? So you're calling back your energy from we could call them the rib people, but really everybody has ribs. But we'll just, whatever. So do it again. Gold magnet, call your energy back from the rib people in the angel assisted gold magnet, so the angels help you in case some of it needs to be more gradual, right? And then just say, angels, can you clean all this off? And give it to yourself. So what does that mean practically speaking? That means that your energy won't be candy wrapped around other people's ribs, so that then they won't blame the fact they have rage inducing blocks on you, or they're way less likely to blame it on you, which is great. Okay, so we've probably already done some of this when we were clearing your matches. But we'll do it this way just to make sure, because there could be rage-inducing blocks that you have that aren't a match for somebody else, and so it's good to be thorough. So just imagine, and it'll be a two-step process. We're going to ask the angels if it's okay to clear all this at this time. Okay, so don't skip that part. So just imagine all your ribs, and imagine them in a friendly shape that's appealing to you. So make them black boxes, or, big bricks, or black rocks, or big white laundry bags, whatever. It doesn't matter so much how you imagine them, but just imagine a copies of all your ribs out in front of you, all the energy blocks that you have that for whatever reason, if they get triggered, would be so destabilizing to you that you could possibly get ragey and whack somebody, right? So all your rage-inducing blocks, just imagine them. And then just say, angels, is it okay? Is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then they're probably going to take some of them away because it's too much to clear at once. But you can keep working this over time. Okay, so then whatever's left are the rage-inducing blocks of yours in your space that are really good to clear right now, healthy and gentle. So then you can blow them up. You can use gold fire, gold water, whatever you prefer. You can melt everybody out of these blocks too. Melt cords going into your rage-inducing blocks from other people. You can wash everybody out of your space with gold sandstorm. So that as you clear these rage-inducing blocks, it's only you in your space. You don't have like an audience, you know? La 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 la. If you have any left over, you can just say, angels, can you help me with these? So let's do that one more time, just in case. So let's do like a quick tricolor soak first, and then we'll do it again, clearing your ribs. Okay. So tricolor soak, there is a 5-minute video on that. If you search Janet Wright tricolor soak, you'll find it. I have like blue hair and funny looking curls and stuff. As opposed to this funny looking hair that I have right now. So anyway, so tricolor soak is just make your grounding red, both your groundings, and bring up red earth energy up. Soak everything in red earth energy, all your auras, all your chakras, all your body parts, everything, all your bones, your butt, especially. You can take some deep breaths. You can bring that down to the level of your grounding and turn your grounding orange and bring that, use it like a big bunch of 2 orange straws, bring up orange earth energy through both your groundings, soak everything in orange earth energy, including your sinuses, your ears, everything. Okay. You can bring that down and change your groundings to yellow. And use them like yellow straws, bring yellow earth energy up, even above your head. Soak everything, your body and your spirit, in yellow earth energy. And you could leave that up, or you could bring it back down to the level of your grounding and, change it to red or orange if you prefer, or keep it yellow. Okay, so that's a tricolor soak. So then, so let's do it again. Just imagine yourself. Well, just imagine all your ribs, rage-inducing blocks. They could be whatever, but it's baggage that you have in your space that if it gets triggered, it could be so destabilizing that you just kind of lose it. You get ragey, subconsciously or consciously, right? So imagine your rage-inducing blocks as whatever shapes you like, and just say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And that way they'll take away whatever's too much for right now. And then whatever's left, go ahead and blow it up or melt it with gold light. And if there are any invasive beings in the way of this, you could just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this work? All right, good job. Woohoo. That's pretty awesome. We should celebrate. That's amazing. Oh, I'll give you guys thumbs up. There we go. Thumbs up to you. You're total rock stars for doing that work, even if you did it just a wee bit. That's really great. Good for you. And also an extra reminder, If you would, please give this live stream a thumbs up, and or later if it's a video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help. I'm going to look for a minute, so I'll be quiet as I look. I'm just looking at different people I'm healing to see how they're doing with the healing and what I should do next in the healing. Yay for you. Okay, so next what we're going to do is clear fear of failure and fear of success, which you may have both. And it can be very subconscious, so you have no idea, and it could be from past lives, so good to do. Let's do it. So just you can imagine both of them at the same time if you want, or that could be interesting because then you compare which you have more of. Because sometimes it's so subconscious, you don't really know, So once you make a pile on one side, whichever side you want, of your fear of failure baggage, and then other people's fear of failure that's in your space, and then fear of success baggage that you have in your space, and other people's fear of success in your space. So it's maybe like a bar chart, There's your fear of failure, your other people's fear of failure, your fear of success, other people's fear of success in your space. So it's your fear of other people's fear of failure in your space and your other people's fear of success in your space. Anyway, melt it all. Just use gold light, melt any cords going into any of it from other people, and just melt it all. And obviously you can do that other times, multiple times. An interesting example of that, 2 examples that I have that the angels are showing me. One of them is a client I had a while ago. He lived in Chicago, and he was not at all uncomfortable with Chicago or with the neighborhood in Chicago that he lived in. But his mother was. His mother lived in the suburbs, and she was very afraid for him, like to the point of, real overboard. She was afraid that he would get into some kind of a gang shooting situation. And just because, she knows what she hears on the news, she doesn't know. I mean, yes, gang shootings happen and there are innocent bystanders that get shot, absolutely. But it tends to be certain neighborhoods in Chicago, certain times of night, whatever. So he wasn't in those neighborhoods. So he was just like, yeah, I have no fear of that whatsoever. But turns out he actually was in a gang shooting situation. He wasn't hurt, but he had me look at it later like, how the hell did I get in a gang shooting situation? And it turned out his mother had so much fear of that he would be involved in a gang shooting in his space. It was in his space, like he was carrying it around every day. So it caused him to manifest that encounter. And the angels didn't stop it because they're like, well, they'll teach him about boundaries. Teach him not to carry his mother's fear everywhere. So anyway, that's one example. Another example is with me. So fear of success. My mother just happens to be. Other people can put fear in your space, not just mothers, but kind of common with mothers. So anyway, my mother had fear of success in my space because the fact that I'm a pro reader healer is just so not okay with her. I don't have conscious communication with her now for like decades. But the fact of what I do for a living is so not cool with her. And she would never want like people that she knows in her daily life to find out about what I do and that I'm her daughter. And so subconsciously, she's afraid that if I become like more and more and more and more well-known, then someday somebody that she knows is going to already know about my work. And wouldn't that be humiliating? Because, oh my God, So anyway, it's just an example, of like random, I mean, you're not really necessarily aware of it. So it's cool to check, if the fear of success you have, A, do you have it and clear it, but B, also include the pile for other people's fear of success in your space and other people's fear of failure in your space or other people's just fear in your space. Cool to do. All right, cool. So that was clearing your fear of success and failure, but also other people's fear of success and failure in your space, that's in your space. And also I gave 2 examples at the end of little stories. Okay, so this is the thing that we're doing right before the wrap up. We'll do some proactive clearing. Be pretty quick, but it should be nice and effective. So proactive clearing, like I said before, it's part of the theme for this whole month, including family boundary, in addition to family boundaries. And you don't have to know what's coming in order to clear blocks that could be triggered or somehow get in the way of you in the future. So that's nice. So first, I guess, I mean, there's so many cool ways you could do it. Let's see. So there's this chapter in your life and the next chapter in your life, right? And don't get too into that. I mean, it's however you want to see it. But the next chapter in your life could be something minor, like December is the next chapter in my life. This chapter's November. Or the next chapter in your life could be, you know, some big stage in your life that lasts 7 years or 15 years or whatever, you know. Either way you want to work it is fine. So you can make a big gold blanket out in front of you, put on it any copies of any baggage that impacts you now and in this chapter in your life. You know, so it could impact you tomorrow or the next day. So it's still proactive clearing, but it's for this chapter. It's just stuff that hasn't happened yet, right? So proactive clearing for this chapter in your life. And you can say, so it's all on your blanket, copies of all that baggage that could impact you negatively in this chapter in your life. And then just say, angels, is this okay to clear all this right now? Is this healthy and gentle? And that way they'll remove what's not healthy and gentle for you to clear right now. And then just lots of gold light. You could blow all this up. If you're healing yourself, you could melt it away with gold light. Melt cords going into it from other people. All right. So one more time for this chapter in your life. So it could be today, now, what's triggered for you that's in your way, or what could be in your way tomorrow, or, you know, for the rest of this chapter in your life, right? So big gold blanket, copies of all the baggage that could get in your way in this chapter in your life and now. And say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then just let them get rid of whatever's too much to clear right now. And then you could bring up red earth energy, soak the whole pile, use gold light to make sure you wash everybody out of your pile and you melt all the cords from other people going into your pile, and then just melt it all or blow it up. So then we'll do next chapter in your life, which, you know, like I said, that could mean December, or it could mean, you know, 2 years from now when the next chapter begins in your life, however you want to think about it. Just big gold blanket out in front of you. Put copies of whatever baggage could trigger and be in your way in the next chapter in your life, right? And then just say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? Is this healthy and gentle to clear? Because probably some stuff is too much to clear right now. Maybe a lot of it is too much to clear right now. So your angels, you know, take care of the sorting for you. So whatever's still out in front of you is healthy and gentle to clear right now. So then go ahead and do it. Just, you know, wash everybody out of these blocks so it doesn't really affect them much if you clear it. Wash their energy out of the blocks, melt the cords, and melt the blocks or blow them up. So we'll do that another time. And again, very important, ask the angels for healthy and gentle screening, right? So big old blanket out in front of you, put on copies of any baggage that would be in your way or trigger in the next chapter in your life. you don't have to worry about what that means, what the next chapter is, when it is, right? And then say, angels, is it okay? Is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? You let them take stuff off. That's too much. Give them a second for that. Take a deep breath in the meantime. And then go ahead and you can bring up red earth energy, soak the whole pile. Gold light, melt cords going into the pile from anybody else. So it doesn't really affect them if you clear the stuff. And then just lots of gold light. Clean everybody out of the blocks, all their energy out, and melt all the blocks or blow them up. So this is stuff that would trigger in the next chapter in your life, but your angels do say it's healthy and gentle to clear right now. If you have any left over, just wrap it up in the gold blanket, hand it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Can you help me with this? If there are any invasive beings that are all like having a little fit over what you just did, just imagine them like a bunch of little freaked out clouds. Just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? So, okay, so we did it. I'm going to put in the banner, even though we've already did it, H and G for healthy and gentle. Because that's important for the proactive clearing that we were doing. Especially because we were doing potentially large periods of time. So it's important to let your angels screen the pile first before you destroy all the blocks. You're not doing too much at once. Okay, good job, good job, good job. So now we will do just a little wrap up. So you can just wash gold light through your whole space, all your auras, your physical body, your astral body, both your groundings. You can use gold light or gold sandstorm around the outer surface, just beyond your auras. Clean that out. So if there's anything that's not you attached to the outside of any of your auras, just melt that away. Unblock above the top of your aura. So like say if the top of your aura is here, then above that there could be just piles of junk sitting there. Way. If any hard shell on the outer surface of your auras, you can melt that away. Hardness does not keep you safe. It's just baggage and drama. Melt any hard shells, especially in the top of your auras, the outer surface. You want flowy, 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 bouncy. Unblock your grounding. You can redo your gold buffer zones. I probably forgot to mention that earlier. Sorry about that. I do have a separate video if you wanted to look that up, Janet Wright Gold Buffer Zones. They are easy to create once you learn them, and they just help slow the rate of aura damage if you recreate them often enough. Okay. So as we wrap up, just ask your angels. Angels, can you help me wrap up this healing? And angels, can you help me have healthy boundaries with everybody, including family members? And angels, can you help me with proactive clearing? All right. Oh, good job. You're amazing. Woo, 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 woo. Yay. That's a healing. Okie doke. I am going to I'm going to read chat comments. If you have comments about this theme or how this healing was for you, or a follow-up question about something that I said in this live stream, you could text it right now. The last little chat section at the end of the last healing was a bit long for me. So I'm going to give myself some little time restrictions. So it's possible I don't get to a bunch of the comments. And if so, sorry about that. You can give me your feedback in your post-healing survey, of course, that I'll be reading tomorrow. That I'm sending out tonight. You can fill out the survey tomorrow and I will read it tomorrow. Or you can post it under the video once it's a video. All right. So looking for chat comments I haven't read yet. Someone says, gives a whole new meaning to you're grounded when you're grounding your child. Love it. Yeah, that's true. You can ground your child. Ideally ground yourself first, so that you're not like some weird thing, but yeah, you can do that. If your child is 40 years old, though, don't ground him without his consent, because that's bad karma. But if your child is 8 years old, yes, you can, bring up earth energies, give them an earth energy soak, and leave it up so grounding. That's fine. Someone says hello from Las Vegas. Oh, they're saying hello to somebody else. Yeah. It's funny because in most chats, like people talk to each other quite often. And I'm not sure if people like that in this context. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some of my clients think it's fun too, and some don't mind. I know in the past, I've had a client that really got freaked out when someone replied to her in a chat comment. So I'm not sure. Not sure about that. Because it's a little bit of more of an introspective environment here. People are talking to their angels, healing themselves, but I don't know. Maybe everybody now thinks it's cool and fun. I don't know. You can let me know in your surveys. Someone says, hi, Janet. I've got conferences tomorrow with 24 sets of parents. Yes. You recommended repairing my good karma windows behind your skull in your astral body aura, and first to third chakras with the last healing. Anything else to keep my boundaries strong? Thank you. Well, you already had all the teacher-parent meetings on the astral, and most of them went very well, like about 80% of them, and there were 20% that you're still working through. So you'll have like another dress rehearsal tonight on the astral with those parents. And the parents that you had an issue with, they tend to cord your guilt and your fear energy blocks. And then so it's hard for you to have boundaries with them because they're cording, and so I guess clear more guilt and more fear. Specifically your fear of authority, your fear of being disliked. Yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it was just cording your baggage, and so it just made it harder for you to be separate enough. But nothing awful happened. It just, it wasn't like the best boundaries, So and you did get angels to block wax from the clients from the parents a couple times. I think you could also clear some baggage around like diplomacy, intuition, we could call it. Like, how do you say something that's in the least triggering possible way? And sometimes, it's like you invert it. And so you say, well, this is how, this is, or compliment the child first, and then say, well, this is what we can work on to help this child progress even faster. That kind of idea. So just clear baggage around diplomacy and diplomacy intuition, diplomacy in communication. Not that you have a huge problem with that, but when the wax came, it was because of something that you probably could have predicted would trigger them too much. The rage inducing blocks. Ideally you want to speak in a way and choose words that tend not to trigger rage subconsciously in the parents. Also, you could consider having a visual, like with park bench communication, which in some of those cases would work really well. Park bench communication is it's like not eyeball to eyeball, like small, which I call small table communication. And for others, I do have a video. If you don't know this stuff, I have 2 videos on park bench communication. If you search Janet Wright, park bench communication, you'll find them and you can listen to them. But park bench communication, you guys are both on a park bench. It's sort of, metaphorically. And you're looking at scenery and you talk as you look at the scenery. So it's a more diluted form of communication, less direct, less in your face. And some people really need that because, they just have baggage about direct communication. It doesn't feel comfortable for them, right? So if you buy flowers and or buy like a figurine or something and bring it, so there's like a bird, a glass bird figurine and or a vase of flowers, hopefully nobody's allergic to flowers though, and then you'd have to remove it from the room. So maybe have both a glass figurine and flowers, but like if you had a vase of flowers at the table where you guys are meeting, then people have the option of looking at the flowers as they listen to you. And so it's this sort of optional park bench communication shift, that you could do or other people can do, sometimes, and if you feel like it's getting too in your face, you can look at the flowers yourself, for a minute, and that might direct their attention to the flowers. You can have a beverage too, and that can kind of divert attention sometimes. That's not why I do it consciously. Although maybe is a subconscious benefit as well, but I need hydration too. But if you had some sort of interesting or even non-interesting, beverage holder with some warm water in it or hot tea for yourself or something, and you could pick it up from time to time and take a quick drink, that could divert their attention if they're trying to crawl in your head, So I hope that helps. So you can replay that because I know I said a lot of different things. I hope that helps. Someone says, "Hi, Janet. I've avoided my parents today, but get triggered randomly even when I'm alone. Just happened now at," you mentioned the time for on the East Coast, I guess is what you're talking about. US East Coast. "I think you were healing the base of skull points shifts my mood immediately." I see. So you're saying, I think maybe since you referred to your parents, maybe you're talking about that you start thinking of them and you start, because I've mentioned that in surveys before that, you'll just get pissed about your parents like all over again. And you'll just feel it intensely again. So I think today's stuff would be great for you. The rage inducing blocks. I think you have a bunch of those, that when they get triggered, it just, it's very distracting, and for you, it's conscious. But, rage inducing blocks can also be subconscious too, and they trigger subconscious rage. So just keep clearing your rage inducing blocks. I think, I'm wondering if you still feel that way now. Are you still ragey about your parents at the moment? In which case you just have more rage inducing blocks to clear. Because I don't think, during this healing, they were particularly invasive with you because you were getting the healing. I mean, they could be, but I mean, maybe there was a cord or two that they managed to get in. Yeah, it's possible they just corded some of your rage inducing blocks during the healing, but you don't have any major damage right now, any significant damage at all, because you just got the healing to your chakras or your creative rings or your auras. Your grounding, your right side of your grounding is blocked. You could unblock that. And the right side of we didn't do it today, but your biker shorts area. Those images just crack me up. So you can imagine your biker shorts area, and especially your right side, and just unblock, because the biker pants area includes also the first and second layers around there. So the whole right side of your hip and thigh and everything, but also the aura layers right outside of that. Just wash your parents out of there too. And you can do your whole right side all at once, too, like shoulders, neck, and hips, and feet, and everything. Yeah. So yeah, you can, you don't have to be around people to get frustration, to be frustrated with them. I mean, spirit interaction happens on a lot on subconscious levels. So it doesn't really matter if you've talked to them consciously. All right. Hope that helps. But yeah, I'm wondering how you feel now, because you were talking about then. I'm wondering if right now you feel less ragey than usual about your parents, or more ragey than usual about your parents. Someone sends heart emojis. Thank you very much. Someone else sends heart emojis. Thank you very much. Someone says, "Believe in the butterflies." Indeed, butterfly power. A whole bunch of emojis. Thank you very much. Someone says, "Others fear in your space, new to me. Thank you." Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. You wouldn't think that's a thing, but it's a thing. You can be afraid just because somebody's afraid for you. That's why, if someone says, "I'll pray for you," I'm like, yeah, like ask the angels to help me. Ask the angels to heal me, rather than like, sometimes when people pray, they just send like white energy into your space. Like they send their fears and whatever, because they're thinking about the devil or whatever they're thinking about as they pray. And so they're just like channeling fear into your space, or whatever. I mean, even if like some people are like, "Oh, I'm sending you love and light," it's like, you're really not, like, because it's, they just have subconscious baggage, so it gets all mucked up. So I prefer just gifts through the angels. You ask the angels to heal me. How about that? It sort of avoids any accidental messiness. Someone says, oh my gosh, mothers, hey, I know I'm very grateful to you and for you. So thank you for all you do to help teach others. You're welcome. Someone says they're sending smiles to other people. Someone says, thank you for the healing, Janet. Started feeling heavy and sad midway through the healing, the ribs part, rage inducing blocks part. Feeling mellow, but still kind of sad. I'm bummed at the lack of sunlight. Yeah, welcome to my fucking world. Yeah, I don't know if you have a sunlight lamp or you don't, but like I totally recommend them. In fact, I'm gonna go on Amazon right now and post a link so people can see what I'm talking about. Good old Amazon. I'm gonna see if sometimes what you order is like, okay, so here's one that we've ordered 3 different times. I don't know if it's still available. It's not. I hate that. All right, fine. So I can't tell you this one. Yeah. I can't find one that we have ordered already that is, but if you search Amazon or whatever way that you buy things, for light therapy lamp or sunlight lamp, something like that. And then you can just have it on you whenever. Like mine, I use it as like one of the lights for the live stream, just so it's on me anyway. Because ideally you want it to just be like at the side, so it's not going in your eyes, but it's still going in your eye in that indirect way. So then it tricks your brain that you're out in the sun, and it helps your circadian rhythms and all sorts of stuff. So it's not just like a woo-woo energy thing. Like actual doctors are condoning it and acknowledging it. But anyway, yeah. I think clearing some of those rage inducing blocks is triggering some I think you just have some abandonment energy triggered. I think you're a little sad because your mom has a lot of rage inducing blocks and she's whacked you a lot, and I think your inner child is kind of like, why couldn't I have had one of the nice moms? I mean, she tries, but she's, she wags so much that she's kind of a high maintenance mom to have, and cord so much. So I think that's part of it. It's like you're just kind of grieving not having an easier mom. So you can just wash out, mom disappointment grief. That might do it. She is who she is. And you did pick her, so for your learning. Anyway, but yeah, you could get a sunlight lamp too. That could help. Sim says, thank you so much for healing me. Oh, somebody's sending smiles to everybody. Yeah, I don't know if everyone likes that, but we'll see. You can put in your surveys if you liked the intercommunication in the chat today. Someone says, thank you so much for healing me. During the sinus healing, I got really upset and felt like I was crying internally. It's subsiding, but now feeling embarrassed about it. Interesting. Is there some angel advice about that can help me regulate my mood and not let it get the best of me? Thank you. Well, I'm wondering about your blood sugar levels. Like, have you eaten recently? Have you eaten protein recently? Or have you just eaten carbs and sugars recently? Because crying out of nowhere, I mean, sometimes that is you got stuck on something, but sometimes it's just you have low blood sugar, like your blood sugar got too low. So if you have blood sugar metabolism issues like I do, You could be hypoglycemic, which means that it's like the opposite of diabetes, but it's like the precursor to type 2 diabetes if you don't take care, and be mindful of what you're eating and eating regular protein and not just carbing with no protein to balance it. Because if, just real quick, all right, fine. So, so this is a little hypoglycemia thing, which I've already been explaining for a couple minutes, so I have to find the beginning of it later, so I timestamp it right. But anyway, so if you're hypoglycemic, it's very underdiagnosed, and it just means that you can't have like just a piece of pizza with no protein and be fine. Like some people who don't have blood sugar problems, it's not healthy to just have like a whole bunch of bread or a whole bunch of carbs or whatever, or like a big glass of sugary orange juice, natural sugars, but still a lot of sugar, and no protein for like, hours, because people who are hypoglycemic, they over release insulin. So they like store away all the new sugar and even some of the sugar that they already had in their bloodstream. And so then they have a crash. And when you have a blood sugar crash, that's when you have a crying fit. So you cry out of nowhere. So, before I knew that I was hypoglycemic, which I only figured out when I was like 30 or something, took me a while. Yeah, I would have crying fits. Not fun. But anyway, so fun fact. Seems like that's something your angels are kind of nudging towards. So I think that's probably, you're grounding blocked up too. And, you had a couple energy blocks that you were stuck on, but it does look like mostly low blood sugar plus all that stuff that caused the crying fit. So yeah, protein, regular protein. Watch if you just have carbs or sugars, even if they're healthy carbs. Your body treats it like a chance to over release insulin and then have a crash if you don't have a lot of protein. So it says, thank you so much. Like, for example, I have, we get these little pre-made packs of hard-boiled eggs that are like 2 little hard-boiled eggs in a little pack, and they're all like pre-done. And we get those from Costco, and we always have those. And we also always have like sausages and, stuff like that around, so that I can quickly microwave something or heat it up in hot water, and have protein, because like after a while, you just intuitively monitor, your blood sugar, and you're like, oh, time for a lot of protein right now. So anyway, fun fact. All right, so more chat comments. All right. Someone says, thank you so much. Feeling relaxed. Clearer mind. Anything my angels suggest I work on at the moment? Thanks again. This one was cool for you. Specific and a reminder, your spouse did not get this healing. And you did. And so this would be a great one for you and anybody who has regular conflict with other people, consciously or subconsciously, to, it'll be easier once the timestamps are in, but, keep working it over time, uncording other people's rage inducing blocks and using angel assisted gold suns to call, or gold magnets to call back your energy from their spaces and especially from around their ribs, their rage inducing blocks, so that they don't so your energy isn't like a candy wrapper around their rage inducing blocks, and therefore they think it's all your fault why they feel so angry. So I think, yeah. And if you keep clearing your rage inducing blocks and even any matches that you have with his rage inducing blocks, which is all that we did today. So it'll be easy once the timestamps are in. You can go right to all that stuff. The chapters will all have, I think I'll start them all with RIB, and then, the different things. RIB this, RIB that, RIB this, RIB that. You can just go through them all. But yeah, I would just say repeat. Your angels are like, repeat, repeat, repeat. So I would just repeat the rib work. It seems like. And specifically with the context of your spouse, but really just, you could also do it the way we did it, where we just did everybody's ribs and, uncord everybody's ribs. Don't send them any energy, but just, imagine from afar their ribs, and then your cords going to their ribs, and just melt your cords. Anyway, hope that helps. So it says, I had a lot of guilt triggered after we've worked ribs. I think because you got back a part of you that you had walled off, that had been whacking your family members pretty regularly, but you weren't aware of it because it was walled off. And that's pretty common. Like, if, it happens a lot that people will wall off a part of them that is especially wounded because they don't want to feel that on a daily basis. And so it's a subconscious thing, but it's like, so you can imagine the part of you, the main part of you, and then if there are these walled off parts of you that are whacking people, and then just imagine the walls and those parts of you, and first heal those parts of you. First heal those parts of you, lots of gold light and earth energy, and just say, angels, can you help me to heal these parts of me? Can you finish up healing these parts of me? And then once those parts of you are all healed up, then melt the walls in between so you get back yourself. But I think that's what happened. You got back some of your energy that you had walled off, and so you weren't really aware at how much you were whacking your family members and have in the past whacked them, and it just triggered some judgment about like, oh, bad people whack, that's terrible that I was doing that, blah blah blah. So I mean, you can just clear the guilt, because it's better to have awareness, and just that way you're more likely to change and progress and, act in ways that you're pleased with. So you can just imagine any guilt blocks and just melt them, and keep imagining more energy blocks that are causing you to feel guilty. Because guilt, I mean, the way most people think about it, guilt and shame helps you to be a good person, but that's sort of like a sloppy, sort of inaccurate way. I mean, your own ethics help you to be a good person, and living by your ethics help you to be a good person. I mean, guilt might be some kind of a warning system that you are not, following your ethics, but guilt is like, it tends to block you up a lot, and it can affect your motivation and even your compassion for others. So it's kind of ironically in the way of you being the best version of yourself. So you can just clear your guilt and shame. And, you can even, imagine like, okay, well, here are pieces of energy that help me to live by my own ethics and values, and just give those parts of you a healing so that it's even stronger, your willpower to live by your values, even subconsciously. But yeah, mostly it's caused by walled off parts. So people are like, oh, that's not happening, I'm not doing that. So denial, denial walls. Anyway, you're saying I cleared that and it's much better. I think I'm processing. My sinuses feel super open and I can breathe more easily. Thank you, Janet. Oh, that's good to know. That's great. Smith says, thank you, Janet. First time here. Well, you're welcome. Welcome. You can look on my website, jwhealing.com. There's a page called upcoming themes. Like there's a menu with a bunch of things in it, and you go down and it says upcoming themes, and that'll show you all the healings that are happening through February of next year. And basically it's 5 healings a month. There's this set of 3 that starts on the first Friday of every month, and then there's a set of 2 healings called the twin set that usually starts on the 3rd Sunday of every month, but in December I'm pushing it later by a week so that it's spaced out better, which is more optimal for people. But anyway, the schedule's on my website, jwhealing.com. And you're welcome to watch any of them you want. You could also buy one if you want, in which case buy a set of healings, in which case you'll be one of the people that I'm healing in the set. But you don't have to. You could just watch too if you don't want to buy and be healed by me. How have I been doing clearing off gates from the sleep slide that block courage from courage for your move coming in? Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I don't think that's an issue, no. I've been working it, but feel like I'm not getting anywhere. Same with intergenerational baggage. No, I think you are. I think you're bringing in more courage. I think you know how we did today, that right before the end, we did clear fear of success and fear of failure, including, you know, and we differentiated your fear of success and other people's fear of success in your space, and then other people's your fear of failure and other people's fear of failure in your space. So if you look at that, like your fear of failure, you can even say, okay, well, what's my fear of failure from my mom in my space look like? You know, it's kind of off the charts. I think how does she keep getting so much fear in your space? It's interesting. I think sometimes it's through your good karma windows, the first good karma window. It's not damaged right now, so it's not coming in right now, but I think sometimes she manages to get like some little splinter, like really small hard objects in there to crack it, and then she can put fear through there. It's like, you know, like she reminds me of like you know, like those driver ed cars where it's like the person's learning how to drive, so the teacher is in the passenger seat and the teacher has a steering wheel and a brake. So in case the driving student learning to drive is about to, you know, harm anyone in the car or whatever, crash, you know, the teacher can just hit the brake pedal and hit the steering wheel and take control of the car. Like your mom she doesn't have that anymore, but she used to, and they're like little remnants of her trying to recreate that over and over. I would say hot pants area and first good karma window are the ways lately that she can still sometimes manage to pipe a lot of fear into your first layer and first chakra. So first good karma window and your biker shorts area of both astral and physical body, which includes the first and second layers around. Yeah, hope that helps. Someone says, thanks, Janet. Feeling okay, a little tired. How did my mom do? Who also got the healing. I didn't realize I was a dumper for her too. Yeah. Yeah. And anyone you have real consistent boundary issues with, you've probably, at least in the past, been a big dumper to them. And so therefore there's, you know, the cords are much more likely to be there. It's easier for them to cord you because there's like a lot of baggage in common, because you dumped a bunch and you have the original and they have the copy and vice versa. So it's like this big cord fest and which turns into a whack fest too consistently. So yeah. Are you in 7 through 3? You're in 7 through 2, actually. It's just not a comfortable fit in your second chakra right now. But you're there. You can just work your biker shorts area and your neck and shoulders at the same time. Just to, if you need a walkthrough of that, you can do the healing from 2 days ago. The 1 of 3 healing. For those of you that don't know, like all the healings with the same theme lately, they're in a playlist. So like there's a November playlist for all these 5 healings this month. And that's linked in the info section of this live stream later video. The playlist for this month. So when I refer to like, oh, the healing we just did, or you know, you can just look at the playlist even if it's, you know, a year from now. All right. So how did your mom do? That's a good question. She had a lot of rage inducing blocks. She did clear a lot, but you can only clear so much at one time. So hopefully she does more with her angels in her sleep and just subconsciously after this. We may or may not repeat this technique in the next healing. Oh, just so you know, some people don't understand this. Like in the survey, that top line, that's for your name, which I say, but people get confused. And it's also, though, for other of your loved ones that I'm also healing. You could put their names too right up there, because it encourages me to read how they did with the healing too, which sometimes is just a quick intuitive check, like, yeah, they did fine. They did fine. They did fine. And then it'll jump out at me if one of them didn't do fine, and then I'll have to look at what's going on, or whatever. Or if one of them I need to look at just because they're a sample person for the next healing, So having everyone's just their names, first and last names, and who they are to you, especially for people, I'm healing a lot of people, but sometimes I just forget if so-and-so is your mother or your sister or your cousin, whatever, So just, your full name, their full name, and who they are to you, and if there's anyone else. So it could be like a list of people. If I'm healing a list of people for you, that's what goes in the name field. Please. Okay. So I think you had asked too, how did your spouse's ex and your spouse's wife do in the last, or your spouse's son and your spouse's ex do in the last healing? I'll just answer how they're doing they did great in both healings. His ex-wife has a lot of rage-inducing blocks. Actually, so do you. You're less likely to become a whacker over your blocks, but you have them too. So that was, I think, the best thing for everyone in your group was just the clearing rage-inducing blocks. I mean, that was the most of the healing today, so that makes sense. But yeah. I mean, your mom does great in these healings. It's just that, there's so much to clear. It's like catching up for decades and a couple recent past lives of like minimal clearing and getting more and more stuck. So, but it's not that she doesn't do the healing. She likes them. Subconsciously, she likes them a lot. Okay. So someone is thanking somebody else for their comment. Yeah, that's probably a bit much interaction, but we'll see. But yeah, you don't have to interact with everybody in the stream. But I don't know if maybe it doesn't make everyone uncomfortable. I know it made this one client I had like wildly triggered at one point, but she doesn't watch the streams anymore. Someone says, hello, how did you mention your mom's name do today? Any technique that she should repeat? I'll follow up this healing with a phone call to her. The best part for her, the most helpful, she did well. The most helpful part for her was the angel assisted gold magnet part. Because she's always worried subconsciously that if she calls her energy back from you and other people, that it might harm them or inconvenience them in any way at all. And so it's like she's less reluctant. She doesn't like really put her heart into the whole gold magnet, call your energy back from others thing. But with the angel assisted gold magnet, then it's like that's no longer a problem, because she knows that the angels are going to make it gentle for everybody, and so it won't inconvenience anybody, which is important for her. So that was actually a really good thing for her. The other stuff was fine and helpful, but the angel assisted gold magnet was like much more beneficial than everything else for her, just because it got around that whole like guilt and sort of fear of harming others thing. So interesting. Somebody says, I am mostly alone. With courage, I send greetings to others. Yeah. Okay, someone says, thank you for the healing, Janet. Feeling pretty tired, probably because I'm sick and the weather is very overcast as well. Well, like I said to the other person, you could get a sunlight lamp. Maybe that would help. Really does trick your brain in good ways. I'm sorry you're sick. You could put in your survey too, when you fill it out tomorrow, you know, if you're still sick and how long you've been sick and your symptoms. That could be interesting. But you are moving forward on your path pretty well right now. And you don't have any significant damage. You don't have any damage to your chakras right now. You're in 7 through 3. You could work like hot pants and shoulders and neck, you know, biker shorts and shoulders and neck, and just kind of alternate. Also your CV meridian, the one that goes up. GV and CV are always good for immune system boosting, but CV for you is especially tight. So the one that starts in the crotch and goes up the midline of the front and ends in like I think like the tip of the tongue or something, but the last point of it is like right there. So just CV meridian, it just looks real tight and compressed. So you can just use red earth energy and gold light and just kind of let it relax more and expand. Work that a little more. You could consider like sort of nurturing things like an Epsom salt bath or just soaking in a bath if that's possible. You know, if that's pleasant for you. Maybe journaling, you know, like sort of yin introspective type stuff in addition to helping your CV meridian. Maybe soups and stews. That's like a traditional Chinese medicine thing around the like change of seasons from like summer to fall and fall to winter. And it's like they say, I'm wondering, are you, because your angels are reminding me of all this, do you eat a lot of raw foods? Because if they're uncooked and the temperatures are getting colder outside, that could be that it was a little too much for your body. And so like things that are already cooked, like stews and soups and stuff, might be nice. But I am not a medical doctor. I am not even a trained acupuncturist. So you can always, you know, if whatever energy stuff you're handling has manifested to the level of a physical illness, you can, you know, go to an acupuncturist who also knows herbs, you know, Chinese medicine practitioner. If you have one near you. If you don't have one near you, I mean, I do have that 12 meridian playlist. I'll link that below again if I remember in the comments section, but you could just go through the 12 meridians on, you know, as you watch the videos, like each video is a minute long and it shows a different meridian, and just, you know, just do what's healthy and gentle only, but, you know, just repair and unblock to the extent that's healthy and gentle for all those major meridians. That could be nice. You know, especially if you don't have time to go to an acupuncturist or you can't afford an acupuncturist or there's not a good one near you, that kind of thing. All right, hope that helps. But I don't think your fatigue is a third chakra issue necessarily. Your third chakras are making enough energy. I think it's just, you know, it's just physical sickness. Someone says, hi, Janet. Thank you for the healing today. You're welcome. I hope that the healing will help my overly burdened blank feeling that I've been carrying lately. Was wondering what you can see about that. Yeah, I emailed you. You probably didn't see it yet, but I emailed you about that. Yeah, you can check your email. But beyond what I already said in the email, Yeah, you could imagine you on your spiritual path and look at what are you dragging forward on your spiritual path, because that's a visual representation sometimes of like the burdens that you have. Is like you carry them forward, like it's like they're on this heavy sled behind you and you have a rope and you're carrying it with you. Or it could be like a backpack that you have on you with like a whole bunch of rocks in it, and those are the burdens you're carrying. But keep checking for that. Keep checking if you're trying to pull forward something really heavy, or if you have it on your back, something really heavy, and just, you can melt it with gold light, or you can hand it to your angels. I don't think it's an issue of agreements. I think if you just see it, imagine the burdens and melt them, and just keep doing that regularly over time, because there's only so much you can do at once. I think that it's not just this life where you've had too many burdens. I think in your last life you had a significant sort of lower enthusiasm level issue in your immediate last life. So it's just, there's just, you clear it over time rather than like in 5 minutes, obviously. But so just imagine the burdens that you're trying to drag forward with you that are healthy and gentle to clear right now. And then just keep imagining and keep melting. In addition to the stuff I mentioned in the email. All right. Someone says another awesome healing. Thank you, Janet. You're welcome. Someone gives lots of heart emojis. Thank you very much. Someone says, may I ask if there's anything I need to know from the angels? You could, I already actually read a bunch, so I'll leave it at that. Someone says, hubby got so triggered for political talk during chakra healing part. Did he hear it? Does he listen to these live streams? I didn't know he listens to these live streams. That's pretty funny. I was LOL and hoping he could clear more the triggered blocks for being on the right side of the political spectrum. That's funny. You could put more about that in your survey. But yeah, I mean, hopefully the clearing rage-inducing baggage helped. So that would be interesting to know, because the political discussion that I had in the stream, that came before we cleared rage-inducing blocks. So, and uncording from other people's rage-inducing blocks. So it'd be interesting to see, A, did he listen to it consciously? Like he listens to my live stream consciously? And B, the chronology, and did the rage-inducing blocks clearing part tone his mood down at all? That would be very useful to know, since I am healing him in this healing. But you can tell him I love him no matter who he votes for. All right. Someone says, I feel more range. Oh, I think you mean rage at my father after the healing ended and had a good cry. And now I feel mellow. Rockstar. That's interesting, isn't it? Thanks. We'll follow your advice about ribs. Yeah, I think ribs could be huge for you. I think ribs could be huge for me even. I mean, I don't think I'm a big whacker of other people, but I bet I was in the past. And I know I was in the past. And also, people are with me. So it's really good. I think this will be a good one to work for, like, if you have backlash people, to uncord their ribs and then use angel assisted gold magnets to call your energy back from their ribs and from anywhere in their space. That could be huge. I'm hoping, but we'll see. We'll see. Just give your honest feedback and surveys and I'll study the results. Okay. Someone says, I am hypoglycemic too. I get the crying bits and food regulation. Yeah. It was funny. Before I knew I was hypoglycemic, oh my God. It was so funny because like right before I found out, like it was, I guess, the angels were helping me to find out, so it was like the most extreme stuff that you shouldn't do if you're hypoglycemic. I went to this party with this guy that, whatever. Now with actual self-esteem, I never would have dated him in the first place. But at the time I was seeing this guy, he wouldn't call it dating. So ridiculous. But anyway, I was seeing this guy and we went to this party together. And of course, he just left me by myself the whole time. And I started drinking Bailey's Irish Cream, which is, alcohol, and eating chocolate chip cookies. And I hadn't eaten any protein like in hours. And alcohol is a sugar. And obviously, cookies are full of sugar and carbs, and which get turned into sugar in your bloodstream. Which is why you can crash on just carbs too if you're hypoglycemic. And I of course then started having a big crying fit at the party. Which is like really humiliating, It wasn't in front of everybody at the party, but it was in front of this, stranger. And I was like oversharing while I was having the crying fit. It was like epic hot mess moment. It was because my sugar crashed. And if your sugar crashes, like your brain is just not right. Your brain starts releasing all these like anxiety hormones and it's just like your brain needs very steady blood sugar. And if there's a crash, your brain like just can turn you into a real hot mess very fast. So anyway, right, it was after that I figured out, okay, I'm hypoglycemic. And then that was a sugar crash. And that was a crying fit from a sugar crash. Oh my God. Good times. Not. Anyway, someone says jumped in at the end, but my sinuses feel good. Oh, good. Usually causes my headaches. Interesting. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. And you can keep healing the sinuses. We did more sinus healing even. We spent more time on it in the last month in the set. Last month. If you just search Janet Wright sinus healing, it'll probably come up. But I mean, today's one was quick but good. You could just freeze frame on that image of the sinuses and just keep working it. That we used today, and I'll show it again right here. So this is it right here. Fun times. So just unblock all those areas and like in front. We didn't do that much today. Well, I didn't say it out loud. I did it as a healer, but in front of all those areas too, and your auras in front. Whenever we heal a body part, it's also the auras around it are just as important. So when I'm healing the sinuses, I'm also healing right in front here and unblocking right in front here and like pulling energy out, like invasive beings, invasive people, just pulling it out, giving it to the angels. It's just like, and give it to the angels and just, get yourself in there. Bring up red earth energy, nice red earth energy bath for your sinuses, for yourself. Maybe align your chakras. You can add a little bit of spine unblocking too. Just to center yourself a little extra after working your sinuses so much. A good compliment. I hope that helps. But yeah, that's cool. I'm glad it the sinus healing and the healing helped. Someone says, oh, then you also say, my shoulder feels good, so not sure if you did a healing today or lingering from the first healing, but thanks. Yeah, we didn't explicitly heal the shoulders today or the biker shorts area today, but we did spine, and we did sinuses and the around the neck and all this, and we did usually I just pack it all into good karma windows, but we did it more thorough today. There's going to be 3 sections that are all time-stamped and separate, so you could pop to one or the other. Good karma windows, and then flow zone, including ear and nasal areas, and then base of skull points, including shoulder swoop points. So actually, yeah, so I guess we did shoulder swoop today. But, a lot of people had lasting results from the Friday healing too, because I definitely did shoulders and neck and then hips, and biker shorts area. And then we did again a combo of shoulders and biker shorts area. So if you like a walkthrough, of both of those areas, that, the first healing of this set has that in it. But good. I'm glad your shoulders feel good and your sinuses. That's awesome. Someone says, LOL about my mom. She's special. She sure is. Love how well the pants blocks clearing work. Yeah, me too. Because I can already feel her triggering me and I can easily clear. Yeah. Thanks, Janet. By the way, love the sun lamp. I use it in the morning. Oh, good. Yeah, I use it all freaking day. I use it till I give myself a sunset time. You know, that sunset, like, according to my sun lamp, you know? So I'll do it till like, you know, like in the summer, the sun goes down at maybe 8:30 or even later. So I'll leave it going till like 7:30 or 8:30. You know, I don't want to leave it going too late because then it affects my sleep, you know? So don't do it at like midnight or something because it'll mess up your sleep and your circadian rhythms or your brain and all that. But I'll do it, you know. I don't do it just like for 20, you know, and if you look on Amazon comments, you know, they'll be like in the comment section for the product, they'll be like, oh, I use it for 20 minutes every day. You know, no, I use it for hours every day. But I just leave it on and work. It doesn't seem to harm me, you know, so I'll just leave it on. I don't even think about it. But anyway, glad you like it and use it. That's cool. This is, can you please let me know how my family members did today? Did my mom like the rib exercise? Yeah, she did. Both. Yeah, it's a big one for you guys. For all you and your mom and your daughter. Yeah, it was everybody's angels are very cautiously optimistic about the effects of the rib work. They're like, because that's a thing in your house. A big thing. So yeah, they both did great. So again, though, you know, there are a lot of blogs from multiple lifetimes that could be classified as ribs that need to be cleared. So it's not like night and day in one day thing, you know, but yeah, it's a good step forward for all three of you. So yeah, they did like it. Someone says, yep, the sugar crash cry. Yeah. Oh gosh, talk about a hot mess. Someone says, I missed the stories of your early experiments. My early experiments. Early experiments. I think you mean, I don't know. There was a hypoglycemia section that I'm going to mark within the chat. This final post-healing chat, I'll have a hypoglycemia section where I talked about hypoglycemia. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to. Early experiments. I mean, I also talked about, I gave examples of fear of success and fear of failure, having other people's fear in your space. So that's probably not what you're referring to. But anyway, I don't know what to say. It's all recorded, fortunately, so you can listen later. All right, so you guys are amazing. What I'm going to do is 2 tiny little things right now, and I'll timestamp them so you can see later again if you want. But I'll do a funny looking tomato cam where I just show some funny looking tomatoes, and then I'll or maybe some cool ones too, and then I'll of course show my dog. And then we'll be done. Okay, so this is first the odd tomato cam. So keep in mind, this is like a juvenile sense of humor. At times my sense of humor is like that of a I don't know, 4-year-old boy, maybe. But these 2 tomatoes, like they look like butts and like, or boobs or something. So these are the 2 tomatoes, but they look very butt-like. But like really good butt. I wish I had a butt that looked like this. I mean, these are the butt tomatoes. We're gonna have to eat them soon because they're so ripe. But anyway, fortunately, I'm getting to show you the butt tomatoes before they are no longer. I don't think any of the other tomatoes look as funny. Let me look at them just for a sec to see if one of them looks more interesting. Okay, so most of them look like this, which is not funny or odd. It just that's a an heirloom tomato that has green shoulders and dark red bottom. They're very tasty. But then some are like a dark red like this because they're a different, well, orangey red. They're a different variety. But I guess this one does have kind of an odd shape because it's all like sort of puckered and stuff, and on the bottom it's got weird little puckering. But it's not as weird as the butt tomatoes. Okay, so now I will show our dog. I'm going to give him some treats on camera, so he'll look so cute when he eats. So hold on, I will get some treats for our dog. Okay, so these are the treats. They're little pieces of freeze-dried salmon, which is a fish. Alrighty, so now I gotta take him out because he's all worked up. So you guys are amazing. Let's have some confetti as we wrap up. Yay! You guys are so amazing. That confetti's all for you. Go, go, go. Hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever's next for you. We'll close out with some more confetti. Woohoo! Yay!